Within hours of the announcement that Justice Ginsburg had passed away, we started receiving phone calls and emails from staffers in Washington, D.C. Are you coming again? We need your voice. We were losing until the mom showed up. That's what several of the senators said during the Kavanaugh confirmation. In fact, Senator Orrin Hatch even wrote us a nice letter saying how much he appreciated us being there. But to be honest, we had no idea just how much influence we were having, because it didn't seem like we were getting anywhere. I remember talking to the chief of staff in Senator Grassley's judicial office when she said, "This is DOA. It's not going anywhere. We don't have the votes." And I was like, oh my gosh, what do you need to get this done? And she said, "We need more moms like you out here, getting their voice heard." Done. So I made a phone call to a couple of friends who generously donated the money to make it possible. And we were there. Got an Airbnb, stayed with friends, got hotels as we needed, and we had a bunch of moms there. We brought in moms from all over the country. We went door to door talking to senators, letting them know that there is an alternate voice. And the Believe Women crowd is not the majority of America. And most of them, let's be honest, were paid to be there. We paid to be there. Those 3 weeks we spent in Washington, D.C. during the Kavanaugh confirmation were literally life-changing. We had no idea just what we were up against and the evil that we face and how crazy women would act for no other reason than to make sure they get to kill babies. I'm not trying to be crass here, but that's what it comes down to. For us, it's about the Constitution and all the divine inherent rights that are protected in that Constitution. For those who fight against these judicial nominees that the president puts forward, is about shredding the Constitution. During the Kavanaugh hearings, we just wanted to be heard. And let me tell you, it was difficult because as we were walking up and down the halls, every time we'd see media and we'd hand them our statement or tell them that we supported the confirmation, and many of us were victims ourselves, they didn't want to hear it. They barely waited for us to turn our heads before they threw our statement in the trash can. Facebook wouldn't let us post, Twitter was shadow banning us, and it seemed like we just couldn't be heard. The Wednesday following the testimonies of Justice Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, we held a press conference. It was just a few days before the vote, and we were going to take one last measured step to try and have our voice heard. We had sent personal invitations to every Senate office. We knew they wouldn't be able to come personally, but Breitbart was streaming it live. So we said, hey, you can't come, you can't bring your staffers, we'll just watch it. Figuring that they weren't going to do that either, but we were going to give them the opportunity. That night I had an interview on the Martha McCallum show on Fox News. As I walked in for my interview, Congressman Jim Jordan and his chief of staff walked in. Ian looked at me and said, "Kimberly, great job today at the press conference." A couple other staffers told us it was the talk of the Hill. For real? We didn't think anybody was paying attention to that. But apparently they did. And then during the interview with Martha McCallum, she asked me the question that everybody was asking. Do you think she was credible? And I thought, that word, I keep hearing that word. They obviously have no idea what that word means. And so I said, well, I think she was compelling, but without substantiation and corroboration. It's just a compelling story. A couple hours later, I got a phone call from one of my friends at Fox News. "Kimberly, do you have any idea what you've just done?" And I was like, oh no, what did I do? She said, no one at Fox News is using the word credible anymore. They're all using the word compelling. I was like, wow. The next day, every Republican senator, they were using the word compelling. And when Senator Collins gave her speech before her final vote, she used the word compelling. Who would have thought that a bunch of moms showing up and just speaking common sense would make a difference? So once again, we're going to be in the fight for our lives. And once again, Moms for America is ready to be there. Making sure that the radical feminists walking through the halls, accosting senators and wearing their silly little costumes aren't the only ones heard. The grown-up women will be there too. So please help us by making a secure donation today. Every little bit that you send is another day we get to be in Washington, D.C., and another mom we get to bring. If you wished you'd had a voice during the Kavanaugh confirmation, here's your chance to be heard now. Thank you so much for your support. And together, we'll make sure the message is heard. Confirmation now.